Assalamu alaikum my dear students of class 6. This is your teacher Ms. Yusra Mughal and I welcome you again in a virtual lesson which is organized by Metropolitan School. So my dear students, today we are going to study about the perfect continuous tenses. The perfect continuous tenses, all three perfect continuous tenses of present, past and future perfect continuous tenses. So let's start our lesson with the present perfect continuous tense. So my dear students, first you will have to understand that what is the present perfect continuous tense. It is the verb tense which is also called the present perfect progressive tense, which is used to show that action which is started in the past and has continued up to the present moment, right? It's the action which is started in the past and which is continued in the present, and the present perfect continuous usually emphasizes on what the tense is difference. What is the difference of the tense? Because all the perfect tenses have the same definition as well. The difference is the use of the time. When the time reference is given, it's mean that the sentence belongs to the perfect continuous tenses, right? So when any of the sentences emphasizes on the duration or the amount of time that an action has been taken place, so you can say that this sentence is belong to the present perfect continuous tense, right my dear students? So now let's moving towards the structure of that tense. So my dear students, with this structure, the helping verbs we are going to use, that is have been and has been, along with the first form of the verb, and obviously that the tense is continuous, so you can surely you can obviously use the first form of the verb with ing. So where to use have been and where to use has been. With the subjects I, we, you, they or any plural person, you are going to use have been, and with the singular person or you can say the third person singulars, you are using the helping verb, that is has been, right? Now there is a thing which you people may confuse, that where to use since and where to use for. How can you use since and for? That using the present perfect continuous tense, we can define a period of time. I already told you that with the period of time you can recognize that the tenses belong to the perfect continuous family. So with the period of time, there are two things which are going to use, that is since and for. So for is used when the time is not fixed, and when the time is fixed, the actual time is given, so you can use for. And here are some things which are mentioned, that for 6 years, for a week, for a month, for hours, for 2 hours. So here you can see that there is no fixed months, no fixed years, no fixed weeks, no fixed minutes, seconds are mentioned. So that is why we are going to use for over here. And when the fixed time is mentioned, that since this morning, since night, since evening, since last week, since yesterday, since childhood, since Wednesday, since 2 o'clock. So there is a fixed time mentioned. So that is why you are going to use since over here. So let's have a look with some examples, that I have worked here for 5 years and I have worked here since 1990. So you have seen the difference of the sentences, that there in the first sentence where the for is used, the thing which is given, that they are saying that for the 5 years, but what 5 years, at what time of the 5 years, the years are not mentioned. So that is why we are using for over here, and when the year is mentioned, so we are going to use since over here. So that make the thing clear in your mind, that when the time is specified and the time is fixed and the time is given, so you can use since with that time, right my dear students? Now let's moving towards another tense, another examples, that it has been raining since morning, we have been playing since afternoon, and she has been working for 2 hours. Here you can see I have written some more examples for that, to make you understand that where to use since and how can you form the sentences with the present perfect continuous tense. So my dear students, let's moving towards another tense, that is the past perfect continuous tense. Now what is past perfect continuous tense? What do you understand by past perfect continuous tense? My dear students, let's define you a definition of that tense when the action which is started in past and which is continued in past, right? Any action which is started in past and which is continued in past but which is giving you the time reference is known as the past perfect continuous tense. And what to do with the past perfect continuous tense? What you will have to do, you will have to use the verb had with the past perfect continuous tense. You can see that here is the structure of that tenses, that the helping verbs had been along with the first form of verb plus ing, right? So here are some more examples given, that he had been playing since morning, or he had been playing for 2 hours. So you have seen the difference of using that I am telling you the exact timings. So that is why I am using morning and since with the morning. And when I'm not specifying the timings, that of 2 hours of at what time of the day 2 hours are mentioned. So there are no mentioning of the 2 hours. So that is why I am going to use for over here, right, my dear students? So students, let's moving towards the next tense, that is the future perfect continuous tense. So now look at the definition of that tense and how this tense is formed. This tense is basically used to describe any ongoing action that will completed in future, right? So the action which is started or present or past, whatever, but the action which is completed in future is known as the future perfect continuous tense, and it is used to express the ongoing nature of an action with regards to its continuation towards a point in future, and the action is assumed to be continued for a time. You can I hope you can understand that the time is given, so it may call the future perfect continuous tense, that any action which is going to start in the present or whatever in the past but will finish in the future, so it is a future continuous tense and the time reference is given. You can say that it is the future continuous tense. So a time reference is used in the sentence to show the starting of the action and for how long the action continues. And for the time reference of the action, we are going to use what? We are going to use since and for with the sentences. And let's move towards the structure. As we all know that future tense is also known as the will tense. So the helping verb is will have been for this tense, and we are going to use the first form of the verb, right? The first form of the verb plus ing. So here are some examples given, that it will have been drizzling since morning, and it will have been drizzling it have been drizzling for 4 hours. So I already told you that where to use since and where to use for the fixed time, for the fixed point, for the fixed year, for the exact time, for any specification we are going to use since, and where the time is not specified we are going to use for with the future and with the present and with the past continuous perfect continuous tenses, right, my dear students? So my dear students, there is a time for the home assignment for you people, and what you will have to do, you will have to copy down the definition, structure, examples and the uses of since and for in your grammar copy first, and then you will have to do the translation of present, past and future continuous tenses in your grammar copy, right? I hope you enjoyed and understand the lesson. Allah Hafiz.